Nithyanandam. Welcome today. Today we'll be talking about this book by Swamiji. It's called Guaranteed Solutions. It is basically based on his talks that are given in the Ananda Spurana and Life Quiz programs. So we thought we will do a series of talks discussing the thought currents that are presented in this book, and we may do other books as well as we go along. So today, one very interesting, thought current that Swamiji, introduces. He talks about the types of knowledge. So Dheeraj, what do you think? How many types of knowledge were you aware of?
Before reading this, I was thinking the knowledge by which we can gain. This is the source of reading and all.
Right.
But after reading this concept and reading this types of knowledge given by the Swamiji, then I came to know that there are three ways of learning. Three types of knowledge. We can take the knowledge from three different ways.
Right.
It's really marvelous and it's really eye-opener.
Right. So let me briefly discuss or mention what the three types of knowledge. So the first type of knowledge is the intellectual knowledge. Okay, it is the knowledge of the mind. Okay. So what is this? This is where you use your mind. This is like typically what you used to study in your school. Where you do your math, science, all these things. So our school is big on this. Our whole education system is very big on propagating this kind of knowledge, which is purely based on the mind, the intellect,
and our memory system.
Yeah, memory system. So it's a purely mind-based, intellectual-based knowledge system that the education system propagates. So this we are all very comfortable relating to.
If one has good memory, then
memory and intellect, we basically able to analyze rational mind. All this adds up, and this is what we are all very comfortable and very, very easy to relate to.
Right.
The second type of knowledge, what Swamiji talks about, is the knowledge of the heart.
In which not only mind is involved, heart is also.
Heart is also involved. So, what are the examples of these kind of knowledge? It is art, music, poetry, dance. These are basically all these artistic expressions where not just the mind but the heart also is involved. Right. So there is some space for this in our modern society where people do go, but many of us don't relate to art very well. Poetry, it's not for me. Music, it's it's something which is not very soothing. It's typically the harsh ones that we relate to, not the real artistic one where the mind, the heart pours in. Right. So many of our experiences with this knowledge, or with the heart, connection with the heart is also drastically reduced, but still we can relate to some extent. Right, there is some amount of connection, or we can relate to this level of knowledge, but not as widespread as the intellectual knowledge in our modern context.
Right. Swamiji explained it very beautifully. If we are drawing something, you are making a picture of.
Right.
Then by intellectual level, by mind level, you can not draw the picture. Heart should be put in that.
Yes.
If you are playing some music or learning some music.
Yes.
Then at intellectual level you can learn the music.
Yes.
You should put in your heart.
Yes.
Then you will come.
Correct. At intellectual level you can talk about the music. Okay, there are swaras, this is that is this is raga. All the technicalities you can talk. That is where the mind comes. But actual exposition of the the swara, the raga, you have to have the heart coming in.
Right.
The feeling should be there. Otherwise the music is very mechanical. It is.
Then only the new creation of the music. Then new ragas. Then new. Some music will.
So that is why if you hear the same song by different singers, by different artists, you feel it is different because they are putting their heart, and their heart brings in a dimension which is different from the other artists. So that's how the art forms express itself. So it is mind plus heart. So that is the second type of knowledge. Now what could be the third type of knowledge? What do you think?
In this knowledge I just explained, I was not aware about that.
Okay.
Before that, and in this type of knowledge, this knowledge comes from your inside. Nobody can teach you.
Correct.
Nobody can teach.
Correct.
You yourself have this knowledge.
So this has got
but
nothing to do with your mind.
Yeah.
It has got nothing to do with your heart. It is beyond mind and heart. It comes from your being. Now that is where the hardship is, So this is called as a spiritual knowledge.
Yeah, spiritual knowledge.
The hard part is most of our people, most of today's generation, all including me, few years back, it would have been extremely difficult to relate to this. The spiritual knowledge, we don't know that something can exist beyond the mind and heart.
And Swamiji explained it. Swamiji told, okay, I cannot teach you spirituality.
It cannot be taught.
You have to. It will come within yourself, and
you have to grasp it.
Yeah, grasp it. And words, the Swamiji explained it. Okay, if I am explaining something, then if you are listening and just grasping it or at mind level,
directly
right, then you will not get the whole essence of that.
Yes. So you have to connect at the being level. Now, what is your being is the important thing to recognize. So once you recognize, what your being is, where your being is, and then you listen to somebody, talking about, spiritual knowledge, then you are able to connect and draw, extract the essence of it. Otherwise, it cannot be taught, it cannot be explained, it cannot be, described. So this is the third level of knowledge.
And this level of knowledge, third level of knowledge, if you start digging,
right,
by this level of knowledge,
right,
then you can explore anything.
Yes. So another important question that comes is, okay, how do we know that, about this? How do you even, get this knowledge? If we cannot read, if it cannot be taught, how do we even get it? Will be the question that, many of us will get. Natural question, right? So what do you think the answer is?
As far as in my knowledge is concerned, I was told by so many spiritual masters and Swamiji also, the whole knowledge is in the universe.
Right.
And it is in ourselves.
Yes.
Because whole universe is within ourselves.
Right.
Then we start the explore that knowledge, the automatic knowledge start coming out.
Right. So the
and we connect ourselves, our being,
right,
with that source.
Correct. So basically, what happens is this can be known only through experience. It is experientially knowable stuff. It cannot be taught. It cannot be explained. It cannot be. It's an empirical truth. It is an empirical, science. So this knowledge is completely experiential and subjective. That is individualistic. If I have experienced, I cannot share it with somebody else. Right? If you have experience, you cannot share it with me. You have experience, you have got it.
We can share in words,
but it is not going to click.
Yeah, it's not going to click. If you haven't experienced.
If I have experience, I can relate with it. I can relate with it. The words are just pointers. It is not the knowledge. Words become pointers only and not the knowledge itself. So this is the third level, that he talks about. So these are three, things. I found it amazing because earlier I had come across, I heard out of, so the first level is called Vijnana. Okay, the first, that is the intellectual, the outside, knowledge of the outside world is called Vijnana. That is Vishishta Jnana. Right? So where you use the intellect. Second one is called Kala.
Okay.
The art form. Right? Kala. So we have Kala. Then the third level, the spiritual knowledge is called the Jnana or Vidya. Jnana or Vidya, which is the inner knowledge, which is the knowledge of the being. So so this was very interesting. Like how Swamiji explained about the whole experience, of or rather the concepts of differentiating the knowledge type. So we are able to relate with them, directly.
So I think we must upgrade ourselves to gain the knowledge to different levels. First, we read the book in schools, where we are just trying to memorize the things.
Right.
It's
one dimension,
one level. Then, if we are putting it in heart,
we are through heart. You express through heart.
Then second level, and third level,
go beyond heart and mind.
So, this is true knowledge.
Correct. So the whole essence is, we cannot get stuck with one level of knowledge or one type of knowledge. As human beings, it is, it is for us to, dabble with all three types of knowledges. It is for us to, go and explore and experience all three levels of knowledges. the intellectual mind and beyond the being level, right? So it is a gift, it is something that we are destined to do, and unless we do that, we will not be fulfilled, we will not feel the satisfaction, we will not feel fulfillment in our lives. And that is why there is so much of dissatisfaction in our society, because people are not connecting with our complete possibility. These are the possibilities. If you are not connecting to all the possibilities, not expressing all the possibilities, there is no way you will be fulfilled, right? So the fulfillment comes from maximizing your possibility. So these are three things. From a knowledge perspective, this is the possibility you have. Unless we expand our possibility to include all these levels, you are not going to be fulfilled, you are not going to be satisfied, and that is going to leave you feeling incomplete.
Right.
So, and that is why there is so much of depression, there is so much of dissatisfaction. People are just the whole life becomes like a drudge.
Right.
You don't enjoy what you're doing.
Right, absolutely. So this is just beginning, and Swamiji have ocean of knowledge.
So this book we'll be exploring more about the more concepts in this book,
so
and we will share our clicks.
Next coming days, we are going to cover so many interesting topics,
yes,
which will solve all the problems of humanity is facing. Thank you.
Thank you,
Nithyananda.